On the way into Mass, you were given this little set of pages, and on the live stream, you can see this picture now. I invite you to unfold the picture. Have a look. Take it in. What do you notice? Apart from the fact that the sun, of course, always shines in Romford. It is absolutely wonderful to be able to offer these draft plans to you today. Plans for you to consider, for you to pray about, to chat about with friends, to comment on. Plans for the future of the parish that preserve the precious heritage of the past. Have a look, take it in. And now just for a moment, I invite you to set these pages aside so that we can bring it all to some prayerful reflection. It's going to take more than a few minutes to really absorb all of those plans. So of course they're for you to take home with you, and everything is on the website as well. So for the here and now, let's bring it to a bit of prayer and reflection. In today's second reading, St. Paul writes to the people of Thessalonica, and he says, "We always mention you in our prayers. We thank God for you all. You've shown your faith in action, worked for love, persevered through hope in our Lord Jesus Christ." Today's World Mission Sunday, and that reading could be the tagline for all Christian mission. Faith in action, work for love, persevere through hope. And today I want to focus on our mission here, the mission that impels us from this church into our town and across the world, sustained precisely by the love of God. Perseverance through hope, says St. Paul, and how you have lived that. This year has been and remains a year of immense hardship and anxiety, stress and fragility in the world and in the town of Romford. In the midst of a pandemic, on the very weekend when restrictions have tightened further, what kind of absurdity is it to launch fresh plans for the parish? And yet maybe it is in precisely such a moment that we need outrageous hope. To pick up an image from Pope Francis in his letter for World Mission Day, as our little boat is in choppy waters, we've realized ever more deeply that we're all on the same boat. All of us a little fragile and disorientated, but at the same time important and needed. All of us called to row together, each of us in need of comforting the other. It's an image for our world right now. It's an image for this town of Romford. It's an image for our parish. And yes, in some ways it is absurd to be starting these plans now. But the definitive way to calm the storm is to journey together with hope. Hope rooted in Jesus Christ, and the hope that by getting ahead with our plans now, we'll be in better shape for the future. In the first letter of St. Peter, he encourages us to be living stones building a spiritual house. That's who we are as parishioners, living faith, hope, and love. And then there are the stones that surround us right now, these stones that are particularly visible from outside the building, the Kentish ragstone that has been the fabric of this church since the foundations were laid in 1854 and the first Mass was celebrated here in 1856. What stories can these stones tell? Rest with that for a moment. Some of you were baptized here, or your children were, or your grandchildren. Some of you were married here. Some of you have said a final farewell to loved ones here. And of course, so many of us did that for Father Tom in the summer, as well as for Elizabeth and Mary earlier in the year. All of those moments, and the first Holy Communions and the confirmations, the prayer, the tears, the joy, the laughter, the friendship and the hope, the wonder and the courage, the charity and the faith that shape our parish community, all of it soaks into these stones. And when we think of the parish centre, well, maybe there's a different kind of spirit soaked into those stones. But of course, the same range of emotions sustained by faith and by hope. So to do anything with these buildings is to be mindful of a precious legacy. And here we have the particular status of a Grade 2 listed building of national importance. Listed because after 250 years of suppression, sometimes violently, the Catholic Diocese of England and Wales were restored in 1850. So a Catholic church built so soon afterwards that remains as complete as this matters to our heritage and to the heritage of the whole country. So let's have a little look at the plans, starting with the church. So if you want to open up the page that has got the plan on it, the draft plan. So where we are allowed to break through is where the two windows are at the back, so that those two windows can become fully doors, and they would become part of the entranceway to the church. We have to keep the middle buttress between the two windows, between what will be the two doors. But opening up like that gives us the chance for a whole new entrance, what you see on this beautiful artist's drawing. This area coming forward from the back wall of the church. Generous space for parishioners, for people to stand when it's crowded, for people bringing in pushchairs or mobility aids, all of those sorts of things. And that extension to the church, combined with an extension to the parish centre, means that we can link those two buildings. And that'll have beautiful benefits for us. Benefits when we socialise after Mass, benefits in being able to video link the Mass on big occasions, a natural line of sight to the repository, and then practicalities like toilets and baby changing. The whole thing will be level access, fully accessible for everyone. Next weekend, we'll have even larger versions of this planned on display in the parish centre for you to be able to walk through and have a look and ask questions as you want to and need to. Right now, you've got the overall site plan in your hand, and you're seeing it on the live stream. And everything is on the website, including those more detailed planning proposals, along with some frequently asked questions that you have on the sheet with the plans and that will be developed the more questions that you ask. So we're really trying our very best, even in these constrained times, to make everything as available as possible so that people can ask questions and share ideas. Within the parish centre, if you imagine, it's very hard when you're in the parish centre to have a sense of it, but the ceiling height of the parish centre is not very different from the roof height of the church. And just as we have the gallery area there, that allows us to have a large hall underneath, but also a mezzanine with a smaller hall upstairs, as you can see on the plans. One end of the main hall will be full height with all the light that that can bring. It should be a tremendous space then, for parish socials, for community use, and for private hire. It will be dignified and decent space for sacramental preparation, a space full of light and welcome. Now, I know that in offering you these draft plans with such enthusiasm, there is another key aspect to name here. And when we met with the leaders of the parish groups and the sacramental programs right back, this has been a process almost a year to get us to this point. When we met with them initially right back in the early spring to hear the features they wanted to be included, then by Zoom during lockdown, and then again 10 days ago with the latest version of these plans, there was something best summed up when one of them said, "Well, Father, this all looks great, but forgive me. I won't really believe it until I can put my hand into the side of the building." What a wonderful phrase. I feel like there should be a little niche in the stonework just for that. And I'm being light, but I know there have been some disappointments along the way. And we can't change that. But all I can assure you is that all of those wisdom from the former plans and ideas has really helped to shape these plans. So there will be hurdles, of course, planning permission and much else besides. But I hope and pray that these plans, amended by whatever thoughts and comments you offer over the next 3 weeks, that these plans will be our reality about 14 to 18 months from now, and that's not a promise, but it is a dream. St. Francis of Assisi says, the journey is essential to the dream, and today marks a very important new stage on the journey. So one final thought. When you leave the church today, at a distance from those around you, I invite you to pause for a moment and rest your hand on one of the stones outside. Think about the nearly 170 years that it stood here. Think about all of the prayers and everything else that I mentioned soaked into it. And add your prayers, please, with gratitude for the past and hope for the present and the future. Faith in action, work for love, persevere through hope.